I don't have 7 o'clock yet on my computer. Still waiting. Still waiting. There we go. All right, I'd like to call this special meeting of October 2nd, 2023 to order. Just to let everybody know, it is a special meeting. It's not a regular meeting. At a regular school board meeting, we'd be able to allow the public to be heard. But since it is designated a special meeting, that's not allowed. So for those of you that were wanting to speak at that, I'm sorry that you didn't have that opportunity tonight, but the next meeting, November meeting will be back to a regular meeting, so it'll be good to do that. Call the roll, please.
Mullins.
Here.
Wagers. Here. Blackman. Here. Here. Novell.
Here, join me in the pledge of allegiance, please. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We will kick off the best parts of the meeting, which is the Spirit Award.
All right, thank you, Mr. Novel. I get the privilege of doing this. And Mr. Trout, I want you to come and join me tonight because you probably have more knowledge about these kids, and Tracy, you're going to join me too, right? Help me pass these things out because this is kind of cool that we need help doing this. And what I'm going to do is we're going to recognize some outstanding Sandites. These outstanding Sandites have won their AP scholars, some are AP scholars with distinction, some are AP scholars with honor. But I want to ask Mr. Trout to tell us what that really means. And then we'll call all of them up here. We'll pass out a Sandite Spirit Award, each one of them. And then Tracy is going to, if you have any leftovers, Stan and I get them. But it's Chick-fil-A cards. So we like to recognize you and also give them, but tell us what an AP scholar and all.
Okay, well, all of these students passed at least 3 AP exams, some of them 4 AP exams. An AP scholar has a AP distinction of passing at least 3 exams with a 3 or higher. An AP scholar with honors represents a student who passed 3 or more AP exams with a score average of 3.25, and an AP scholar with distinction, 3 or more exams with an AP average of 3.5 or higher, meaning that they made 3 or 4s or 5s on their AP exam. So that's an equivalent of, that's college credit is what that means. So these students all receive at least 9, some of them 12 hours of college credit, some of them with the score of high 5, which is the highest you can receive. So it's a national honor and it represents college money. It represents college courses passed so that they can enter college with some of them already with their freshman year under their belt. So
I think we have, I think I'll probably get this wrong. I think there's 12 of them that were 11th graders last year.
Correct.
And 5 that were seniors last year. We're going to recognize the ones that even graduated last year.
So I counted, I think it was 72 AP exams
Wow.
just from those 2 classes. So pretty impressive. It's the most we've ever had. So it's a testament to their teachers, their families.
Very good. AP advanced placement.
Mhm.
And so like Mr. Trout says, that's a big deal. And we're excited as a board that we have students with parent support and that's very important. That we get the students with the parent support that want to step up and do well. And as I've heard Mr. Trout say many times, you can go anywhere from Sand Springs and do anything you want to from Sand Springs. I promise you, these kids were recognized tonight. We'll do this. I'm going to read off the names and call everybody up here, and we'll as you come up, we'll pass one of these out. We'll shake your hand, but don't leave because somebody wants to take a picture. I know they always want to take a picture of all this. So, and I'll tell you this: if I pronounce your name wrong, it's Stan's fault. Okay. Justin
H.
H.
Ike.
Ike. Justin Ike. See,
Okay, see, so
come on up, come on up. Alexander Arnold. Michaela Bradfield. Cesar Diaz. And Connor Diaz. Thomas Phelan. Isaiah Gleaton. Hayden Harris. Byron Jarrett. Gracie Massey. Ian McCabe. Morgan Rector. Deacon Schaefer. Caitlin Shipman. Connor Shipman. Marley Sutterfield. And Shelby Young. Oh, wow, very nice, very nice. That's right. We gotta figure out a way to get all of our picture made together, so.
So we're gonna put half you guys on the other side. I'm gonna take charge here. Yeah, there
Yeah, you got it. That's the first time.
Yeah, right?
And I really, that's what Mr. Trout says. The more in front, make the honors that we can fit in the room.
I told them they can go right here and I can be on the front.
And then we can have some of the fellows on this side too. Can we do that? Tracy, you might want to stand. Hey, come here.
Okay, that's right.
There we go.
I'm shaking the head. You know why?
Beautiful.
All right, friends, I'm gonna have you look here. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Do we have anyone else?
Hey, hold on, because parents are wanting pictures. I can tell, I can see it.
My son, you gotta be dead.
That's, I'm fine.
Let me take all the pictures, okay? Very nice. And students, you heard what I said. One of these days, I want you back here saying, look what I've done. Thank you, Sand Springs. Look what I've done. Look what I'm doing, I should say. Cool. Thank y'all.
yes, I will pass these up at school.
Some of them already graduated. You gotta go find
Yes. We'll find.
Thank you. So people to speak.
Wait, but I thought the excess gift cards went to the board.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We didn't have any extra, did we?
No, not at all.
Oh,
That's because cookies coming home with me. That's right.
Wait a minute, the meeting's not over yet.
what?
Started.
Hey, you acting like my kids. Get the money and run.
Chick-fil-A, I'm going.
Well, they might close.
Wouldn't care.
They just went on. They've seen it before.
Yes, for sure.
They've seen it before.
Start stacking them up there. 18 computer printer. Yeah, guys.
Okay, well, I'm gonna pick up here.
Yeah.
I have the Sandite Pacesetter Award and would Dolores, I think she goes by D though, Larkin, please join me. Oh. Okay, these are always my favorite. We have the hero, be a Sandite hero is like a huge thing around here, and D is a hero. I'm gonna read what they have written because this says it way better than I can. Okay. Dee Larkin, our high school custodian, was instrumental in making our varsity dance clinic a success. Her passion and her willingness to step in when needed were invaluable. She was there to make sure the stadium lights were on as the sun went down. We also had a storm that was quickly approaching, and she unlocked the field house to make sure that the dancers had a safe place to go during the storm. She is someone who you can count on, and she goes above and beyond for our district. She has a willingness to help out wherever needed. Dee is an amazing person and certainly an asset to our district. And this is by Miss Dawn Hill. So much. The Sandike hero.
And by the way, with a smile on her face too.
Yes.
Always
Big
good
smile,
at
beautiful smile.
Speaking of smiles. 1, 2, 3. One more, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Gotta go back to work.
Hey, Mr. Nozzle, before we do the Queen of Excellence, Gracie was supposed to be, she was in the group that got recognized at the last meeting too. She
Gotcha.
wasn't here for the Indigenous, National Indigenous,
Do we need a photo?
and I don't want to have to come back to another meeting.
Color and National Indigenous Award. It was on there and
See?
Come on out.
I'm so sorry, good job.
Wait, should we get a photo?
I don't blame you.
But if you get another award, you can come back again.
Hey, can I use that excuse? I get the privilege of giving out the coin of excellence. Would Richard Brewer join me up here, please? Great, thank you. Mr. Anderson, Eric Anderson nominated you for this coin of excellence. And let me read what he wrote here. Richard is one of our most reliable bus drivers. He always is dependable, and the students know they can count on him to ensure their safety at all times. He is very in tune with his students, always observing them and being aware of situations as they arise. Earlier this month, he saved a student's life by quickly jumping into action and performing the Heimlich maneuver on a student that started choking on the bus. He was awarded the Bus Driver of the Month for September and has the appreciation of myself, transportation, the students and their parents, and now by the Board of Education for going above and beyond. Not so sure that this coin is all you deserve, but it's what we have. In recognition of outstanding achievement and superior performance. On the other side, it says, think right, challenge minds, inspire hearts.
Here.
Yes.
Thank you. You want to say something?
Having been here just a little over a month now, this group of drivers that I have, some of the most safety conscious people on the planet. It's not always been so with some of the other districts I've been at. So just the stories that come in and, it's people like Richard that go above and beyond the call of duty every day to make sure that these kids make it to and from school safely. I couldn't ask for a better group of people.
You bet.
We can emergency and do it in a calm fashion, because there's folks that would panic potentially. But that's not the first time you've done that. Am I right? So
Use my cord.
he's right. He's the fourth person. So good job, my friend.
Yes. Don't eat around him. Richard, come on, let's get a picture.
Eric needs to be in the picture.
Yes, for sure. That's almost $1. All right. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I think that's the end of the fun part of the meeting, but most everybody left already. So the rest that stuck around for the other two awards, this is a good opportunity if you don't want to sit and listen to the rest of the nuts and bolts of our meeting is a good time for you to head on out. Wow, you take. All right. Ms. Superintendent, you would like to move on to item 6?
Student empowerment and staff. Couple things that I need to brag about, honestly. We get to honor Carrie Schlehuber and her department. We had this special education checkpoint for disproportionality. Let her talk about it a little bit, but basically that means that we are judged based on identification of special education students, placement, making sure that we're not over identifying students based on basically race. There's some other criteria for that as well, but we just need to make sure that we're not over identifying students essentially. Her team does that every year. It's interesting, you get back a letter that says no findings, which simplifies, as I've said a million times before, the processes that we have to do to make sure we're held accountable and doing the right things. And so, Carrie, I don't know if you want to elaborate, but I'm always proud of no.
I think the only thing I would add to that is we don't even come close. So it's not like we're borderline, we're really consistent across the board, and it's looking at identification, but it's also looking at things like long-term suspension or different demographics, different areas to make sure that we're not doing something disproportionate in any different area, and we're good in all of those. So
kudos to her. It's just a small little letter, but I always put those things on the board because it does replicate or represent a huge body of work. So it takes a team. The second one, Bobby Clink received notification that they were going to be recognized, the football team, for Keep Oklahoma Beautiful. And it was that effort by his football team and his staff to go out and help to clean up after the June storms. And it was immense in Sand Springs, as you know. I know many of you guys had your own problems in your own yard with the wind, but I think it's a cool recognition that his team took the time, not thinking about payment, just to be helpful to contribute to the community. And I remember Coach Cleat saying we need to pay back to the people that come out and support us every Friday night. So that was a cool thing. And then this is kind of feel good stuff. And I think the things that we're talking about tonight do represent our district and our community as a whole, and what we perceive as kind of the important stuff. But this is a letter Frank Cooper sent out after homecoming week, and just talking about the effort of our kids, collecting over 250 pounds of canned goods, donating them to Sand Springs Community Services, and then making 200 sack lunches that were donated to the Day Center for the homeless. So yes, that's student council. Yes, that's what we teach, but our kids really do that willingly. And I've always said we have lots of students with special needs that attend all of our sites, and our students, as a general rule, show so much kindness and compassion. And sometimes, I mean, I love the academic accolades, and it is a lot of fun to celebrate 17 students that are academic scholars. There's no doubt, but man, the heart of a Sandite, there's really just nothing better. So I thought that was a good way to complement some of the student successes that we have this year. Of course, fall benchmark testing is completed all sides. Sean Beard's in the middle of analyzing those results alongside Claudia Smith with the RSA piece. And next month, Sean's going to be presenting some of the original, the beginning of the year benchmark data. So you get to see where we are with just assessment this year in the beginning. So any questions about student empowerment and staff empowerment?
Did I see where Coach Clink's gonna get recognized at the Cowboy Hall of Fame
Yeah.
later on?
Yes, and I think that, yeah, yes, yes.
That's
Yeah, it's pretty outstanding. It's just fun to see our people out, not just in our district and us doing it with the school board meeting, but out in the state representing well. I mean, we came off a great year with Tim Ray and some of the other. Kristen Arnold was recognized statewide. And it's just fun to see ourselves in the paper and in the media getting some kudos for the things that are important. So.
All right, we'll move on to item 7, please.
Right, so I've attached to the agenda is the Trimco inspection on Angus Valley. I believe, and Mike is in the audience, but I believe the work is complete out there. There was some staining that happened on the asphalt roof that was replaced. They were aware of it. I believe they were supposed to correct that this weekend. I'm not sure if it's done yet, but not yet. But overall, those roofs are done for the most part, with the exception of that little piece. Close to completion of the Performing Arts Building, I believe Rod Sitten was able to hold an event there at homecoming. There was a couple of things like the roof still, or the ceiling still needed a little paint, but the band's back in, so we're we're occupying, still waiting on Otis. The elevator is it's a little tricky just because of parts and it takes them a little bit longer. So that's the one piece that we're still waiting on. LB Kearns has been a great partner in terms of the complex progress. Rod Sitten sent me a picture of him holding yet another handful of the metal bolts that came out of the fencing. It's just they keep coming. He kind of giggled about it. He said, this is just part of the process, but they keep, picking up the metal from this fencing that was just literally blown away. And so when that happened, the light, I'm sure all kinds of things, the home dugout was destroyed. So a lot of it that just accumulated on the field. And so one of and just, they did it 3 times, but yeah.
I'm sure they'll find my van tires.
Right. Yeah, crazy. So stuff that you don't think about.
So you will, without the elevator in the building, will the city let us occupy that building?
They are, we have to make accommodation for students that can't travel the stairs. So van is first floor. So, and a lot of the things Keel Whipple does is on the first level. They've got rooms that allow for one-on-one lessons and such. So we just make accommodations. And it's just, the band area is so close to the football. I know it's just right across the parking lot, but when you're carting instruments of that size, it's a big deal. So getting them back on the first floor was a good thing. Vernon Florence newsletters attached, you guys. It's every month. It's done by our team at COSA. It's we've got 3 months into the new year. Revenue isn't quite what they collected last year. That always makes me a little bit nervous and probably makes Christy nervous as well. Much more of that, and then we're going to be in a place where revenue failure is a real possibility. I will see how it goes. If you watched the state board meeting last Thursday, you probably witnessed our state superintendent cutting the education budget ask. It was approved by the state board by $47 million. And I know they're either in or getting ready to be in special session now, talking about income tax cuts. So those of us, namely districts that are highly dependent on revenue from the state, get a little bit antsy when it comes to going ahead and providing services. As you know, we gave the teachers and administrators a really hefty raise last year, and it takes revenue to continue to support that. So I'm just, more to come. It's still kind of early. We're 3 months into a 12-month revenue year. So we'll see. But again, didn't really like the way that looked. The other thing I want to mention publicly is we convened a committee to talk about the teacher empowerment program that was also encouraged and promoted not only by the legislature, but by the state superintendent. We're choosing right now not to participate in that program. It was a match, so it offered bonuses, merit pay basically for teachers that reach certain levels. Districts were capped at 10% of their teaching staff. So for us, that was about 30 to 35 people that could glean money, but we had to match it. As we met with our Tulsa regional area, I don't know one district that's going to participate. I was on an OASA call with about 225 school districts a couple weeks ago, and there was 1 or 2 that were even toying with the idea of participation. So I don't look for that to be accessed by folks in the state. And I will say the conversations we were having with our own teachers, it was pretty difficult to rank and order those who deserved it versus those who did not. And it became a large conversation that we just as a committee chose not to do. We spent 2 full committee meetings this summer. So just kind of an update on that one. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the summer, but I wanted to put a period on that because that again has been communicated out from the state. So any questions about finance facilities?
All right, let's move on to item 8.
So first bond committee meeting was last Monday night. Getting ready to send out an invitation for yet another one for next Monday night. I thought attendance was really great. There were approximately 40 people that were there. Some invited that were participants, meaning our staff people, but then a lot of community members. So we had several parents. The city was there, the chamber was there, 2 board members, so Whitney Wagers and Mike Mullins also came. Just got a chance to one, share how that process works. So I wanted the people to hear that it's just not something you come up with. Hey, we'd like to do these projects and we thought of them last week. It's over a year-long process to really capture the needs and the perspective of our team in the district and what kids need. Lots of good questions. People were very receptive. We presented those 3 projects that we know we want to present to the community to vote on. One was the Boyd, that's the biggest one. That project is probably going to cost around $35 million to get it complete. It's a great plan. People were very receptive to that. Finishing the admin ADA requirements, so getting an elevator on the south end with some stairs. And then looking at the press box. Our plan is to move forward by taking our folks and just touring the sites, letting them walk through and see all the fun things that we have to show and kind of giving people a real tangible look-see at what we need in our district. So I thought that went really well. We'll continue those. I'm opening back up dialogue. That's going to help me remember to get that on the schedule at the beginning of before the board meeting in November. Open it up to the public. Anybody can come and hear. We're looking for a resolution to be on the November board meeting. At that point, it's go time. So it's about all of us getting out, making sure we're communicating, making sure people understand what we're wanting to do and getting the word out. So looking for a February bond election is our target month.
February 13th.
February the 13th. Yes, yes. And I'd kind of separate that from the parent teacher conference. It's going to happen pretty quickly in October, right before fall break. So any questions regarding that meeting or any kind of discussion about projects from you guys? Excuse me.
That bond issue will have the second part with some transportation.
Oh, yeah.
See,
Right.
Richard here tonight made me think of that, so.
Yes, so just like they always are, by law, we have to have 2 resolutions. One is for transportation specifically, and that's separate from the facilities piece, and everyone gets touched, so the ECEC, we're asking for turf for the playground. That turf is about 12 years old, and we all know that turf isn't meant to last forever. And library expansion at Limestone. Right now, Pratt, they just got a new roof, which is great, but next summer we're going to be working on some drainage in the cafeteria that needs to be fixed. Charles Page needs a new roof. So we'll have a complete list and have that communicated out, but every site will get touched for sure. Great question though. Any questions? Number 9, if you're ready to move on.
The next one.
Safe school committees, they're meeting now. The agenda for September is attached. Lots of subjects get covered in the first meeting, as you, I'm sure, are aware that all of the drills have, not all the drills, but a couple of the drills are mandatory. JJ Smith still is the chair of that committee and makes sure that everybody's fully informed of all things safety. And so it was quite a big informative meeting. Also meant to elicit feedback. Again, when you hire new staff, well, it's a big job to make sure you're communicating back to your sites all those plans. And so folks that serve on the committee that work at sites are tasked with making sure people are aware of all of those. Item 26 is another MOU for another school resource officer for our schools. I keep talking about that $92,000 that were out or appropriated by the legislature for every district in the state. Very narrow in terms of what you can ask for resource officer. They're really encouraging people to try to do that as well as facility updates that would enhance the safety measures of the school. And so we've talked to John Mars, the police chief, and very excited about the possibility of another resource officer. Still kind of capturing where that person will be located. He's thinking kind of Charles Page High, the secondary area. We need to cover Page Academy maybe better than we are right now, just because of lack of enough people. But anyway, excited about adding a third. And then lastly, the walkthrough metal detectors were ready for homecoming night. I thought it went great. We were able to move faster. It didn't occur to me how many people show up for games right when it's time to start, but that happens. But it did work quicker. Again, had the baskets, metal goes in that, they side, and then they walk through. And people are being great about it. It's really has not been at all bothersome, other than it's been hot. It had waited in line a little bit, but nobody's been negative about that process. I'm proud of our team, our leadership. I need to say this out loud a million times because they work their tails off on Friday nights. So they're out helping man the gates. They make fun of Miss Arnold because of how she wands people, and that's an inside joke a little bit. She's very thorough with the wand. Nobody's getting by. So we kind of sit back and watch Miss Arnold. And they just do the job. They just come and do what it takes, and I love them. It's been great. For sure. So that's what I've got on the Safe Schools.
Resource officer is funded through this particular grant, which is a 1-year grant.
Year.
That's a 3-year.
Yeah,
So-
John and I had a conversation about it, the fall in. So you want to be able to sustain when it's over, so that would be our goal. At the same time, if it's not sustainable at the end of 3 years, it's 3 years, you have an extra person. They equally have as hard of a time as we do trying to get staff on board. And so onboarding a police officer isn't as easy as it sounds. You think, oh, I'll just post out, see who applies. It's not that simple. There's a lot of training that goes into that. In fact, I didn't know this, but when they onboard a resource officer, that's probably not who we get at the schools. That person would probably train with their staff for a solid year, and we would likely get one that's already on staff at the department.
They're actually employees of
The city. That's correct. Yeah. And we do that because of liability insurance. They are the boss. They control all of that. So we are paying, that's why it's an MOU versus a salary. So we pay the contract fee and then they carry the liability insurance. It's a good decision. Any other questions?
Let's move on to consent agenda, please.
Consent agenda is pretty normal. There's a few items that I want to bring to your attention. The first is item number 21. Just need to kind of talk about it. One of you guys asked a question about Garland Betts. Garland, his resignation was effective 8/11. We were lacking a resignation letter from him. Ms. Arnold keeps us all clean when it comes to HR. And so, of course, you all know that all resignations have to be board approved, even though he has not been working for us since May of last year. But his resignation is there, so I want to bring it to your attention. Item number 24 will be the first review and discussion of board meeting dates for fiscal year 20. Not fiscal year, for calendar year 24. So we'll need to strike that, Beth, and make a note of that. So any discussion, let me pull it up here on this one. We review and then we don't actually vote on this until next month. And then of course, those dates have to be filed in December for the whole year. We have I believe. And that would be the 3rd of September, right after Labor Day. That would be the only Tuesday. And the way the calendar worked out this year, they were pretty evenly spread apart. It's fairly easy to do the meeting date. So you don't have to have the date now, but you're gonna want to take a look at that. So we will vote on that next
I know
time.
a lot of them was the 1st of January.
Right. So we're off. So the 8th, but there's still 4 weeks.
December,
Yeah.
not work.
What's that?
December's not.
December 2nd. Okay.
That's my birthday.
Oh. That's hilarious. Bring a birthday cake.
Come to the meeting, but there better be a cake.
I feel like there's gonna be a cake. I think
Let's
that's
just say that my birthday's on November 4th and they're having it on my birthday.
Whose birthday?
That's true.
Cakes in a row.
I was gonna say.
And my birthday.
Mine's not.
I didn't notice it when I was looking at it.
Write that down.
Of course, the women don't notice their birthday.
I don't notice my birthday.
Whatever, I
Today's
celebrate
Richard's
mine.
birthday. Today's Richard's birthday.
Yes, it is.
So side note,
Yes.
Aaron's birthday is Friday,
It's Friday. It's in October.
her 50th,
Oh.
and she had no clue.
So you're on television.
She had no clue until my brother-in-law said that we had a vacation together. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's your 50th." She's like, "No, it's not." He's like, "Yeah, it is." Doesn't matter.
What are you saying? Sure.
I'm sorry.
Even if it's-
She didn't even know, so knows now though. If you're watching, honey,
I
oh
feel like there's payback.
no way.
And then number 26 would be the one that I just pointed out about the MOU for the resource officer. Questions?
I just have one. It seemed like we're one of the very few districts that has the meeting on the first Monday of the month. Does that still work for us well?
I think it works great,
I do too.
but you're right, but it's all over the place.
Good.
Mr. Mullins, like Tuesday, sometimes there's districts that have it on Thursday. Time's different. We talked about that last year about some people have it at 6:30, ours is at 7. I think it's just everywhere, honestly.
We will need to put it later to help out with the financial situation, so we can have the books closed. I mean, it's worked for us forever. I just don't want to assume that it's the best.
I think it's fine. Yeah, I like the rhythm, actually.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda item as listed.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I hear any further discussion? Call for a vote, please.
Mullen,
Aye.
Wagers,
Aye.
Lennon. Aye. Hanlon. Aye. Schnabel.
Aye. Moving to action items, please. Item 28. Do I hear a proposed executive session to discuss temporary teacher appointment? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 29.
Make the motion for approval of temporary teacher employment recommendations. 23-24 school year.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those? Call for a vote, please.
Mullen.
Aye.
Wagers.
Aye.
Aye. Hanlon. Aye. Schnabel.
Aye. Item 30, do I hear any proposal or a motion that we move into executive session to discuss employment recommendations as stated? Seeing none, we'll move on to 31. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the employment recommendation for the 23-24 school year.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote, please.
Mullen.
Aye.
Wagers.
Aye.
Lennon. Aye. Schnabel.
Aye.
Hanlon.
Uh-oh.
Out of order.
Uh-oh. I have 32. I hear a proposal for executive session to convene for superintendent evaluation.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Call for vote, please.
Mullins.
Aye.
Wagers. Aye. Wagner. Aye. Hanlon. Knopf.
Aye.
back.
Somebody has to be.
Oh, I need to read this out loud.
Yes.
We are now in open session. The time is 8:16 PM. While in executive session, the board discussed the following. Only state the ones that you discussed.
I Joe Biden.
Superintendent evaluation. You told me to read this. See, of course. This is the second meeting.
I made.
I'm out.
I should. I have during one of those.
I'm sorry. You're
Just,
not qualified to run the United States of America.
at least you know I can read.
There'll be outtakes for this year.
That's okay. Now, do I read the second one? Do I?
You have to read this.
Okay, no other matters were discussed, no votes were taken.
Very good. Very good.
Well, thank you. Was
Okay,
it?
we're on item 33. Proposed approval of new policies to add to the district policy manual.
So these are two we're asking for a first read and vote to put them in policy. These are required by law, coming straight up from Ms. Slayhuber, and I'll let you describe it.
Well, so it's just students that are already on a diabetic health plan. If they were having a diabetic emergency, we're gonna keep that medication stocked. And the nurses would be able to administer it if it was an emergency. That's the first piece, is just talking about that actual policy. And then the second policy is the waiver of liability that the parents would sign. So obviously, if we didn't have that on record from a parent, then we wouldn't provide the medication. We would just make a 911 call. So. And they're both required by law. So these came directly from OSSBA.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion?
I will make a motion to approve new policies to add to the district policy manual, both A and B.
I hope Tracy seconds it so she can get her.
I seconded.
Call for a vote, please.
Mullins,
Aye.
Wagers,
Aye.
Wagner. Aye. Hanlon. Aye. Noggle.
Any announcements?
No, sir.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
Call for a vote, please.
Mullins,
Aye.
Wagers.
Aye.
Wagner. Aye. Hanlon. Aye. Noggle.
Aye.